Hello, and welcome to The Short Take, a podcast where we talk about all things short films, apart from when we don't.
And we sometimes don't.
Yeah. I'm your host, Jake, and with me is my co-host, Alex.
That's me.
That is you. This is our first podcast of 2023.
What?
So, what better thing to do than look at last year and talk about those films?
Yeah! 2023.
So this episode we're going to look at the top 10 films of 2022 with a couple of little extra categories chucked in.
The top 10. This isn't like what we think of the
no,
top
it's
10.
objective.
This is the objective top 10.
Yeah.
Our lists are identical.
If there are any discrepancies, ignore it. Doesn't matter.
It's an error in the system.
Yeah.
Just choose your own adventure. You have to pick one list.
The correct answer is whatever you say it is, and we're wrong.
You're talking to me, not the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So, how are you doing?
All right.
Yeah?
Yeah, I got something. So, obviously, last year I wrote a theme song for the podcast.
You did.
And
Beloved by all.
Yeah. And I think it got a bit overplayed.
Potentially.
Yeah, when you listen to the same song every week,
Yeah,
just
it
on
can
like
get
different
repetitive.
mediums,
Yeah.
it gets repetitive.
Yeah.
So,
especially if you listen to these podcasts back to back.
Exactly.
As most of our fans do.
Yeah. So, what I've decided to do is write a new theme song every single episode.
Wow.
To spice it up.
Wow, that's incredible.
And
so we're going to get one.
This is the
today.
first one, yeah. As you can see, it's a little music box.
It is.
I figured that's something I hadn't used yet. Just wind it up. And there we go. So now, next episode,
Which is episode 1 of season 2,
I'll
probably.
have a brand new one
That's crazy.
on a different medium.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what I always do. Which is becoming tough, because there's not many mediums that you can
You're
play
running out.
music. But I'll figure it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have faith.
You didn't give me any feedback on the theme.
Well, on this theme,
On the song, yeah.
not necessary.
I don't know what that means. Oh no.
So should we kick it off? Should we get stuck
It's
in?
not bloody football, Jake. It's not bloody football, right? No kicking off.
Yep, I've kicked the ball already.
No!
And it's gone straight into the goal.
Where's the whistle?
And the goalie has shouted, number 10.
What does that mean? What do you mean, goalie?
And Alex replied with his number 10 pick.
My number 10 picks are the 10th best film of 2022.
Objectively, don't forget.
Objectively, is Ty West's Pearl.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not seen it. So you can talk about it as much as you like.
Yes.
Before we do start with any of this, I guess I'll give a spoiler warning. I
Yeah,
feel like we're going to spoil
if we're talking
all of
about
them.
the best films of 2022, there's going to be some spoilers.
Yeah.
So if you hear us say a film, Jake's going to put the timestamp for every single number, and then if you get to the number and you're like, oh, I don't want to hear about this one, you can look down and look for the next number and press the timestamp and it'll take you to that.
Yeah. I might do that. Probably won't.
I've said it now. It's in the
I
pod.
can cut it out.
No, I'll make it impossible to cut because I'll keep mentioning it.
So I'm probably not going to watch this, so you can spoil it as much as you like.
Okay, so did you see X?
No. That's,
So
yeah,
obviously this is a
I'm
very
sad I missed
weird situation because Ty West made X earlier 2022. I was about to say this
February
year. Not
kind
this
of time.
year. Yeah, I want to say that. And then Pearl came out end of the year. I
don't think I saw anything about this film.
Pearl is a prequel to X.
Right.
So basically, X was a film set in the 70s about a film crew for a porno, and they book a kind of cabin on a farm to film in.
Yeah.
Right? And it's this old couple who own it. And they get there and then they shoot a porno. It's very funny. Like the first half of it's pretty fucking funny. And then the second half of it, basically, the old lady, whose name is Pearl, starts killing them all. And she has this weird obsession with Mia Goth's character, Max. And she's like, who's like the lead porn star. And Pearl is also played by Mia Goth, like the old lady, in prosthetics.
Oh, interesting.
Which I won't get into X. I have issues with X. I really like X. I think it kind of falls flat on the first half because it does that thing where it shows the quote-unquote monster too much. So in the second half, it's not as spooky. Like, the first half, they should have only shown Pearl, the old lady, in the kind of glimpses. Like there's a shot near the beginning where they look up at the farm and through a window and you see her there brushing her hair or something really creepy. But you don't really see her.
Yeah.
And so that's cool. But then they pretty soon after that, there's a whole scene where someone sits down at a table with her and has a drink. And like it just ruins it. Also, I didn't know it was Mia Goth at first dressed up as the old lady, but I did know it was someone in prosthetics. Oh, there's no way that's an old lady. And I think that kind of sucks. But either way, Pearl was apparently, and this is really cool, so I didn't see it when I went to see it because I didn't think to wait. There was an after credit scene for X that's a trailer for Pearl.
Okay. Interesting.
Apparently, I don't know logistics of this or like how true it is. I mean, it is kind of true, but I don't know to what extent. Ty West, the director-writer, was filming scenes for Pearl while doing X without telling the studio, and then came back to them because it's Mia Goth plays Pearl in Pearl.
Yeah.
Like the younger version of her, which is set in like 1918, I think it was. It's set in. And it's set on the same farm, so it does make sense. Like watching Pearl, you can totally see how they could have gotten away with it because like, there's also not many cast members in Pearl.
Yeah.
But the difference between Pearl and X is that Pearl is this kind of weird, kind of horror-y, psychological, shining feel, but also it's kind of like the Wizard of Oz. It's almost like the Wizard of Oz if Dorothy's purpose was to become a deranged like murderer. Like there's something about it, and it's just this really eerie. I think as a film it's fine. I don't think it's super strong in terms of its like screenplay and stuff like that, if that makes sense. But Mia Goth is so good in it that she saves the entire film and uplifts it so much. Kind of like the end of the film is essentially just about a like 7-minute monologue from Mia Goth, and the camera just stays on her the whole time and her just talking, and the fact that that scene works shows how good she is. Like that scene shouldn't work, but it doesn't cut to the other person the entire time because then it kind of builds to that, and then the end of the speech it cuts to her, and it's just that character being like, whoa, what the fuck. But like she's so good in it. I can't state enough. Like she's so good, and I think it was just a little bit more special than X. I really like X. It kind of harkens back to like kind of slashery films of like the 80s and 70s in a really fun way.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's very funny, which I like. But Pearl is just like kind of unique, I think, is what it is compared to X.
Yeah.
I think Pearl is a lot more unique, and I like that about it.
That's cool.
But yeah, very nice film.
Nice.
Yeah. What's your number 10?
My number 10. Very similar theming, actually, in some ways. It's called Pleasure.
Oh, I haven't heard of this.
A film...
Oh, I have heard of this.
Yeah.
Sorry, carry on.
Yes. So, this film is about a woman entering the porn industry in America. It's directed by a woman called Ninja, who held a Q&A directly after we watched it.
Not part of Dianford.
Huh?
Not part of Dianford, right? Dianford?
What are you saying?
Do you know who Dianford are?
No.
Chappie. The guys who are in the Chappie film, the band.
Oh.
Hey, fatty bum bum. That's Dianford.
No.
I don't think it is. It's Ninja and Yolandi. Ninja's the guy in it, so I don't think so.
Ninja Thyberg.
Yeah, no.
I had no idea what you were talking about then. I was so lost.
I'm not the problem here. You are.
So, Pleasure is a deeply uncomfortable film to watch, but I think it does what it wants to do so well. And it's not really explicit. I mean, it's an 18, but it's like you don't really see anything unpleasant. I think this is correct, the only actor in it is the lead. Okay. All of the others are porn stars.
Oh.
In the industry. I mean, like obviously they're acting in it, but like but like do you know what I mean? Like,
I know what you mean.
There are people in the industry that she got to be in the film.
Yeah.
She researched this film for like 7 years or something ridiculous.
Does
like
she have any connection to porn, or is it just...
I don't think so.
Interesting.
I think she just is really interested by it. The way that she like held herself in the interview and stuff, it was so interesting. Yeah. We'll come on to a little bit about the Q&A in a second. But I thought it was such a good film, and it like, despite it being like a showcase of how horrific this industry is, it does such a good job of telling a story through it as well. Like you care about the character, the main character, and you're following her through this journey, and you're like, oh my god, no, don't do that, that. And then it's like, it keeps you interested and engaged the whole way through, and like her friendships and stuff, but like twisted through this horrible lens of the porn industry in America. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was really good. That's cool. Don't think I'll ever watch it again.
Those are. I was thinking about those kinds of films recently. Yeah. There's something to be said about films that are like really fucking good. Yeah. You can only watch once.
It's 100%. It's like I think it's probably like a necessary watch because I feel like there's not many films about the porn industry from like a woman's perspective.
Not in America, I would say either. Yeah, like, I think there's a really interesting. There's I haven't watched it, but there's that film Anti-Porno that came out. It's supposed to be really good. It's like a horror film,
right?
And like I feel there's other films in that vein from Japan and Korea,
right?
But yeah, in terms of in America, surprising lack of films about considering how big an industry
exactly
it is.
Because and I think especially because from a woman's perspective, because that's the horror side of it. That's the scary bit.
Yeah.
And then so I'll talk a bit about the Q&A now because I think that really reflected in the questions that were being asked. Basically, she came out and she was dressed very cool to start. Tess was just like, oh my gosh, she's like, that's such a cool outfit. And she kind of held herself really well.
Yeah.
But some of the questions, man, like this one guy was like, oh, don't you think we've got enough of these films? Like Boogie Nights already exists. And she was just like, yeah, this is not Boogie Nights.
That's such a stupid like what?
I know.
Boogie Nights already exists.
Yeah, that's when she was just like, Boogie Nights is from a male perspective. That's like a man.
Why?
Like,
Sorry. Can I ask you a question, sir? Why do we need How the Grinch Stole Christmas? The Santa Claus exists.
But I think it was especially interesting because he was basically implying that like the female perspective doesn't matter at all. And it was just so baffling. It was like, did you watch the film?
So annoying.
The next woman who asked questions did not ask a question, which is a running theme with these Q&As. She was just like, oh, I'm into BDSM. I'm a sub, and it's really hard to find doms. And like, I go to all the clubs, and it's really difficult and stuff. And she just started going off about it. And then
we've said we're from Brighton, haven't we?
Yeah,
I hate Brighton.
Yeah, some of the people, man, especially at a Q&A, it's like you're gonna attract the weirdos. And a Q&A about a film about porn, like you're gonna attract some weirdos. So yeah, she just went off on about that, and then she said. And then she started complaining that 50 Shades of Grey was a really bad interpretation of it. And to be fair, probably is.
Not anything to do with what's happening right now.
But she was just like, have you seen it? And the director was like, no, I've not seen it. And she was like, you should. You need to watch that. It's like, what?
Why?
Like, why are you telling... And like...
I hate this.
Yeah, and then the third guy, which was the worst question, Tess asked a question as well to save it, which was nice. But the third guy was like, there weren't actually enough girl-on-girl scenes in this film.
The audacity.
I know.
What?
Absolute. Like, we just sat there trying not to piss ourselves laughing. We were like, why? What is wrong with you? So that was an experience.
God.
That was not the only Q&A I went to this year, and I'll be talking about one more of them. But this was the worst one.
Yeah,
this was definitely the worst one.
To be.
Yeah. So that was my number 10. Good times.
Right. Well, not good times, but
not particularly.
That's all really. You said the film you didn't want to watch again.
It's on Mubi if you want to watch it.
Mubi.
Yeah.
Ooh-wee.
So the referee has. He's reset the ball and he's shouting at you in your face. What's your number 9?
What are you talking about, Rev? My number 9 is The Northman.
Interesting.
A film that...
So, just quickly, The Northman did not quite make it onto my list.
Interesting. The Northman, it was very near not being on my list.
Yeah.
I will say right now, I think quite a few of the films past like number 5 or 6... it felt like this year there weren't. I don't think I saw as much, and there's a lot of films that I saw that I just didn't. I'm like, I like it. I don't know if it's top 10. Like any other year it would come out, it probably would have made it. I don't think any other year Pearl or Northman would have made a list.
Right.
But I do think the Northman's very, very cool. I think it's good. I think it's really interesting. I think it's cool that I always forget his name, Robert Eggers. I think it's cool that Robert Eggers got such a big budget. Yeah, especially considering how good The Lighthouse was and The Vivitch.
I've not seen that one. Lighthouse was good though.
Vivitch is very good. For The Lighthouse, but I think my issue with it is purely that The Northman feels like it's 2 films, And one half of it, or not even half, I'm not talking like the whole film, I just mean like elements of it. Like, part of it is a Gladiator-esque epic.
Yeah.
And part of it is a Robert Eggers film. And it isn't fully one or the other.
Yeah.
And I think if it went either way, it would be a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would love to see the big Gladiator-esque fucking version of it.
That scene at the start
to see the full Robert
where
Eggers.
he catches the spear and chucks it back.
Yeah. Insane.
More of that.
But then I would totally be cool as well if it went the other way and it was more just the weird fucking like horror-y stuff. But it feels like it's so in the middle that it's kind of worse off for it. It's still very good. I think it's beautifully shot. Obviously, you can tell the money's on the screen. Like, it's insane.
100%,
like where they got to film and like what they got to film. But yeah, there's just a weird thing about it where it's like it's not a tonal problem. It's kind of a I don't know how to explain it. It's just something about it is off, like in terms of what it's deciding to be. Yeah, and like it feels like it's not giving me all it can in both areas.
Right. Okay.
So, like I said, rather than being just like one big, it's like the scene where he like climbs down into the boat underground
and
to get the sword,
a weird.
and
it's like a weird hallucination.
Comes
thing,
to life
isn't it?
and he fights.
Yeah, I like that bit.
It's cool. It feels like the studio got it and were like, there needs to be another action scene because this bit's boring. And they were like, okay, well, let's just have it that he fights the skeleton like a Dark Souls boss. And like, it is cool. But then again, it's that thing where I'm like, I think you need to figure this out. You need to decide, are you going to be a weird, witchy Robert Eggers film? For Vichy, sorry. Or are you going to be a big epic where you go full on like barbarian, like fucking gladiator style fighting? And I just like, it suffers for it. Again, really liked it still. It's also based on the story that Hamlet's based on, which I think is interesting.
Right, yes. I mean, there is a lot of
the character's called Amlin.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
I also think for the small amount of screen time he has, Ethan Hawke's really fucking good in it as the king at the beginning. Nicole Kidman's really good in it. I wasn't expecting her to be anywhere near as good as she was. I mean, she's a great actress, but yeah, she really blew me away. I think it does have a lot to say in terms of revenge stuff as well. I like the fact that it kind of, they talk about it not being as simple, if you know what I mean. Yeah. And this idea that like his whole, like what he's based his whole life around just comes falling apart. Like he gets there and his mum's like, I don't want to be saved by you. And I think it's interesting because I don't know if I do fully believe her when she says about like how she hated his dad.
Yeah.
I'm like, do you? Like, is this a case where she's kind of... It could be totally true, but it could also be a thing of, like...
Stockholm.
She's... Not even Stockholm Syndrome, just her being like, I'm now in a safe place.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, the position I'm in is safe. If I go with you, I'm not safe.
Yeah.
And I've been without you for so long that you don't really matter to me.
Yeah.
Like, I do wonder. Like, I feel like it could go either way with that, because she kind of depicted as being crazy as well.
Yeah.
Like, she fucking... It's really interesting.
Yeah.
I don't love Not Anna Darma, sorry. I don't love Anya Taylor-Joy in it. Something about her feels off. She feels like she's not from that time and place in the film. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just because she's kind of been shoved down our throats recently, like she's in everything. Maybe it's an element of that.
But it's like her and Robert Eggers are like tight, aren't they?
I mean, the Vivitch.
Yeah.
It kind of gave her a start.
Because she wanted to be in The Lighthouse as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
She was a seagull head.
She wanted to, like... She was like, oh yeah, I'll be like the mermaid or whatever.
He was like, you don't want to be the mermaid.
Yeah. I think he did say to her, like, you don't want to be the mermaid.
You don't want to be the mermaid.
I really enjoyed The Northman. I don't think I had as many problems with it as you did.
That's really interesting that it's not on your list, but it is on mine.
I had it at number 4 for a long time.
Really?
And then I just kept watching stuff that was better, and it just kept getting knocked down.
Mine was higher technically, but I always kind of knew in my heart that like it was going to sink.
Right, yeah.
Again, no, I am complaining about it, but I do really like it.
I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched it so long ago now that I don't like. I think my memory of it is very foggy. I don't remember being bored or anything. I remember really enjoying it.
I don't think it's boring at all.
No, I think I remember when the ending happened. I was a bit like, oh, but then like as it sat with me, I was like, no, actually, it works for what it is, and it's good. Yeah, I thought it was quite good, but there's just a lot of stuff I've seen that I think was better.
Yeah, that makes sense. What's your number 9?
My number 9 is the one that was very close to The Northman, but then has managed to hold it a little bit higher. The Batman.
That's so interesting. I didn't even think to talk about the Batman. Okay,
Is that on your...
No, it's not on my list at all.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But let's talk about it.
So, The the Batman, I thought it was really cool. I really enjoyed it. I think we talked about it a lot when it first came out and we watched it. Yeah, it has such an interesting idea to it. I think my favorite thing is the characterization of Batman.
Yeah,
the journey that he goes through, and like at the end when he realizes being this grumpy, solid, like the
incel
predator
Riddler stuff is really well done.
Yes, I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Like just being like a scary predator at night. He's putting fear into the hearts of civilians as well.
Yeah,
and it's like he needs to be hope and stuff. And I thought that was such a cool message.
That is very cool.
It's very, very cool. I think it's a little bit too long, but I don't know what I'd cut out, to be honest.
I do.
Oh no, sorry. Yeah, I know some stuff to cut out, and it's Catwoman, but.
Yeah. Well, but also
then you have no female characters.
No, you're right.
Which is like
Zoe Kravitz also is very good in it. I want to say
yeah,
that.
no,
She's
she is
very good as Catwoman.
But it's the weakest story.
It just doesn't need to be there. Like in terms of what the plot is and what it's about.
Yeah,
it never really comes to anything enough.
It's the final shot, isn't it? Him riding
which is
away.
so bad.
Like take
those
that
two
out.
final bits are bad.
The Joker bit.
It should have ended with the bit where he's looking up at the helicopter.
Yeah.
When he like holds the civilian's hand
in the trailer.
and it gets taken up. But then it also, I don't like the shot above. It cuts from him kind of like on a wide or a mid, and the gurney thing's being lifted into the helicopter and he's holding their hand and he kind of lets go and then he's just looking up and it's like classic Batman pose about looking up, cape flowing. But then it cuts to this shot like above looking down at him and he just looks really dumb from that angle because
with the white eyes and then like just mud
the
and
bat
stuff.
outfit. He's just like, and he's like kind of wobbling because of the helicopter blowing him about. And I'm like, why is that there?
I quite like that shot.
I hate that shot.
Oh, okay.
But I think after that, the Batman and Catwoman separating thing was
rubbish,
and the fucking dreadful Barry Keoghan Joker scene.
Yeah.
Neither of those need to be in the film.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't get on with the Batman. I think Batman's good.
Yeah.
I've seen it twice. I think it's so long that it's ridiculous. I don't think it needs to be that long at all. I think I really like the Riddler incel stuff. I don't like Zoe Kravitz's like storyline in it. It doesn't really need to be there. It feels so latched on for no reason.
Yeah.
I think the mystery isn't quite enough of a mystery for me. Like, 'cause it feels like the film's meant to be like a mystery film.
Yeah,
but it's
I know what you mean.
It's there's like a whole section of the film where it's like Batman's just wrong, and like it goes on like, but the film goes in a completely different direction for so long because of that I'm like, why? Like, because he then just gets to what's his name and he's like, you translated it wrong, like the Penguin.
The Penguin,
and it's like, then why? Like, why do we do any of this?
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm a real mixed bag about it. I do love Robert Pattinson's Batman. I think he's fucking excellent.
I'm excited for him to come back.
100%.
Yeah.
I think I love the atmosphere. I like how they've gone for more of the gothic Batman rather than the Christopher Nolan's, which obviously went for more of the modern day, like contemporary.
Yeah.
I like they've gone for more of the comic booky world where it feels more lived in as well.
It's like gritty and
I think the use of like the Penguin and the Riddler is really clever as well. I think I don't love that he lives in that tower in the city. I think that's kind of dumb. I don't know why he can't just have the mansion.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's a weird little complaint, and it's not. I don't hate the film because of that. This little thing.
Yeah,
I think the opening scene is fucking amazing. Like one of the best Batman scenes ever created with the shadows and the genuine thing that every single one of the shots where it's showing like the guy looking in the darkness and him narrating about like how I'm everywhere. I'm in every fucking shadow to these guys, and then every single one of them who looks at a shadow, I'm just like, he's gonna come out. He's there.
Yeah, but then I think that on top of that scene sets up Batman's character so well.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Because the one that he goes to is the one where a real person is in danger.
Yeah.
Because the other two is like robbing a bank and like
he's robbing a shop, I think. But
but it's like they're not where people are in danger. He's going to help the people. That's what he's there for. But he just hasn't communicated that to the people, and that's kind of what the film's about.
Yeah,
which I think is so
I do think it's cool, and I really do love that end bit where he's fighting the Riddler, kind of like incel.
Oh yeah, and he gets the Bane venom.
And I don't like that bit. But I do like the bit where he like the guy. He's like, "Who are you?" or something to the guy, and he's like, "I'm Vengeance."
Yeah,
and you're like, "Oh, like." that hits. Like, and it shows how well written it is.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I do think I remember when I watched for the first time, and I was like, "Oh, that's what they're going for" when that happened. Because I think it's so long, and it kind of gets lost in itself in the middle. There's just like shit happening, and I'm like, you need a more compelling mystery through line, I guess, is what it is.
I think if you cut out all of the Catwoman stuff,
you'd have to rewrite it heavily because she is kind of
intertwined,
but
like I think
you
could remold it into something that's got a better through line and a better payoff, I guess.
I've always thought, it would be really interesting to have a female Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah.
There's no real reason you couldn't.
No, not at all.
And, like, I feel like it would make her character make more sense. Because, like, obviously Commissioner Gordon's thing has always been, like, he's a really good cop. He's a good cop. And he's kind of the guy who all the other cops don't like. And I feel like, who is that other than a female commissioner? Do you see what I'm saying? It would be a really interesting commentary on the sense that they're all like, this fucking woman telling us what to do. Like, because they're all pieces of shit because it's Gotham.
I mean, that is...
And then you have the good cops who rally around them.
I mean, that is something you could do, but then you are just... I don't know how to describe it, but you're playing into the, like... It's not really typecasting, is it? But it's like, do you know what I mean? You're like...
I know what you're saying, but then I don't think it... typecasting because, like I said, that is the character.
But, like, when you're doing stories about, like, a gay character and it's like... When that it's a struggle to come out and like everyone hates them because they're gay and stuff. It's like, do you know what I mean? It's like it's the thing that's always done. Yeah. And it's like you want to break that mold. Do you know what I mean? Like, so if you're doing that, you're playing into the mold.
You're kind of breaking it though, right? Because it's kind of like
I don't think.
Like I said, the Commissioner Gordon as a character has always been a male, and that is his character as he's the cop that they like.
Yeah.
Don't like. So it's not necessarily saying that the only reason is because she's a female. It's just that I feel like that kind of fits into it as well.
I think I disagree.
I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah.
I think I do really like Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon. I think he's really good in it.
Yeah, he was cool.
It's too long.
It is way too long.
Way too long. And I think like there are a lot of parts of it where I'm just like, what are we doing?
But then overall, I enjoyed it. I had a good time.
It's good.
With it.
It's good.
Yeah.
I don't know where it would fall for me. I actually forgot to review it because I really didn't. I just kind of was like, I can't be fucked talk about it. Like, I don't know where it would fall for me. I think it would fall... It's not on the list. I have more negative to say about it, but I think generally I'm positive on it.
Okay.
It's like better than like any Batman film we've had since the Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah. But I mean, that's
like
film.
saying nothing.
Yeah. That is a void statement.
Yeah.
Well.
Nice.
Flashback, and you're standing over a body.
Oh God!
And it looks like you've, I think you probably missed the ball and you've kicked someone quite hard.
Jesus!
And they're lying on the floor, and the ref is standing right next to you, and he's shouting, "What's your number 8?"
What? How is that important? God damn it! My number 8 is Barbarian.
Snap.
Is your number 8 also?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really, really love Barbarian.
Yeah, we watched Barbarian on the same night.
I've watched it again since as well.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
With better internet?
Yes.
Yeah. So we watched it on the same night without communicating to each other, and then we came and recorded the best Christmas films episode, and we were like, oh my God, we watched it at the same time.
Yeah.
Without even knowing it.
Who'd have thunk it?
Barbarian's great.
It is great.
It's a good film.
Really, really loved it. It's just like, I don't want to say anything because I think not many people have seen it, and I want people to go into it blind.
I think that's... But we did say spoilers.
I know, but I don't want to. I think it's...
Yeah, no, I don't think I will either. I'll say some stuff.
Bill Skarsgård's great in it.
Yes, he is.
What's her name? Shit on it. Let me look at it.
I don't know. Justin Long is also very good in it. That guy...
Georgina Campbell.
Who's the old guy?
I don't know, but he pops up in a lot of stuff.
He does.
He was in Mandy. He's really great.
Richard Brake.
That's the one, I assume.
Yeah. Barbarian is such a fun film.
Really is.
I'm not a fan of horror. I think it's one of my least favourite genres, but I still watch it quite a lot because it tends to produce quite good films.
Yeah.
It made me want to throw up several times.
Yeah.
I really don't get on with horror, but it was so good. And it doesn't really rely on jump scares, which I think is like, I think jump scares can get very cheap.
It has a lot of tension building.
Oh, yeah,
but with very little release, which I think is interesting.
Yeah, I think it does some really interesting stuff, and I think obviously this is a thing for every horror film, but it like does some really interesting stuff with the lighting.
Yeah.
Like
pretty good.
There's a scene at the beginning where she arrives and it's dark, and then the next day you see it, the area in the daylight, and it's like it gives you so much more information.
It's a really cool moment.
I love that.
I don't love, without saying anything specific, there's quite a few moments of CGI which I just don't think need to be in it. Right. And they're bad. Yeah. And they kind of ruin it for me a bit. And it's annoying when they have some actually really good practical effects. I'm just like, why didn't you just stick to practical? Like, be basic with it. Like, it's really... And I feel like it's camera trick you can use to get around some of the stuff. But that's kind of it. Like, otherwise, I think it's fucking great. Everything is good. It's really, really good plot. Like, just really... Like, it's really entertaining in the... I don't know what the word is, like, structure of it.
Yeah, it jumps around in time a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think it times when it jumps around very well.
What, do you know how long it is? Off the top of your head?
About an hour 40.
That's a good time.
103 minutes.
That's a good amount of time. Like
that is hour 43 minutes.
Yeah.
Very close. Nice.
Very well done.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's very well paced and it ends when it needs to end.
Yeah.
I think my favourite thing is Justin Long's character. I think he's just so good. Yeah, love to hate.
It's a really thankless role, and I think I appreciate that he did it. I think if anyone can pull it off, it's him. Yeah. Yeah, really good film.
It was so good. I can't think if there's anything else.
I don't want to say anything
else.
No. It's like,
I think there was a lot of really cool... I think we talked about this a little bit. Really cool camera moves of like the punch-ins on certain items and stuff.
Yeah.
It felt
very well directed.
David
the director's
Fincher,
a comedy director as well, which is interesting.
Yeah, seems to be a lot of that going around.
Yeah. But I think there's a link between comedy and horror that's you cannot discredit. It's like all that comedy and horror both do is like build tension and then release, and it's just how you release it. That's why Get Out's so good. Yeah. Because Get Out is like tension, 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 joke.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing, but then it will be tension, 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 spooked you. Sometimes it's nervous laughter. Sometimes you're like, haha. Yeah. Because you were like, oh no. Yeah. So like, I feel there is like, I think being a comedy director gives you a lot in terms of a horror director. Yeah. If that makes sense. Yeah. It's really interesting. That's cool.
So, flashback.
Why is it a flashback? Is this something that's happened to me?
No, it's not a flash. Like your mind has been distracted by you're thinking about this film.
Oh, okay.
And
so
now you're flashing
back to reality. Okay, back to reality.
There's an ambulance tearing across the football pitch towards you, and the ambulance driver runs out. He like slams on the brakes, opens the door, runs over to you. What's your number 7?
Why? Why does he care? My number 7 is Glass Onion.
Snap.
Is it?
Yeah.
Hey, which is really interesting because you didn't love Glass Onion.
I did.
That's what you said to me.
No, what I said is I prefer Knives Out.
Yeah, I prefer Knives Out technically.
But I still enjoy this quite a lot.
I love Glass Onion.
I think I have a lot more problems with it than you did. Yeah. But I still enjoyed it a lot.
I think Glass Onion is... I would say, by the way, on my list, I think every other film after here is like definitely top 10. Like, I would have always had them. Glass Onion is kind of a middle ground where I feel like definitely warrants being in a top 10. Mm-hmm. I think on a good year there's a chance it'd be a lot lower. Maybe not on it. Okay. But the other 3 films, I think good chance they would just never have been on the list.
Right.
Like any other year.
Yeah, sure.
Glass Onion is... I love Knives Out. Knives Out's great. I think Glass Onion's more rewatchable, more fun. And I kind of prefer the angle it takes with the mystery element. But also I like the fact that I want them to do a different mystery element every time.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I like that about it. But yeah, man, like it's like love that Rian Johnson gets to do this. If you know what I mean.
I love that for him.
Like it's so good.
I've always been a Rian Johnson lover.
Big Rian Johnson fan. I just wanted to make so many of these. Like,
I know. Just keep going forever until
Ben
he dies.
Blan's such a fucking good character.
So
but alongside that, every side character he creates is so good.
Like, I know. Yeah.
I think
he can craft a good mystery.
He can, like, perfectly. And like, the midway reveal and like the fucking the way it recontextualizes and it like you essentially get like the full film in the first I think the midway twist comes at about like an hour 20 in, maybe an hour 10.
I don't know.
It comes like quite far in. It's a long time until you get that twist, and then it like shows you a lot of the same shit you've already seen, but recontextualized.
Yeah.
And it's so clever in doing that without making you think you're watching the same shit.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it knows when to and when not to show you stuff, because it shows. The first time you watch it, you get the big Andy speech where they're all sitting around, and then Andy basically calls them all out on their bullshit, and then she walks off.
Yeah.
And then the film, when it comes back to that point later on with the recontextualization, you see her about to give that speech, but it skips the speech because it knows you don't need to watch that whole speech again.
Yeah.
But seeing the before of her and the after of her changes it.
Yeah.
And it's so clever. Like, he's a master, dude. Like, Rian Johnson is so clever.
So good. I think so many of the little things that feed into it that apparently people just don't see. Like the fact that it's called Glass Onion and like they live in a massive glass onion.
Yeah.
Perfect. Like, absolutely perfect. I think some of the characterization elements that they put into the costume stuff is so good.
So good.
So I don't know if you will have watched it. The
Rian Johnson breaks down a scene thing. Yeah,
is it Vanity Fair that do it?
Yeah, I think it is.
Notes on a scene for that scene.
I
love it. I love it so much. The fact that that her mask is falling down and she pulls it up. The fact that they're not wearing them. The fact that she's
Birdie
wearing
has one, but it's not
the Lana Del Rey one,
so
isn't
perfect.
it? So good. I love that.
I think there's in a time like now in cinema, that a film like Glass Onion can get made at all. I think it's so fucking good.
Yeah,
and like it's just so fun and entertaining, and it's like it's this proof of concept that like there's a huge gap right now in cinema of just like, and okay, let me say this: I'm a comic book movie lover. I love comic book movies, but there is a problem with the fact that for some reason it seems like now all audience pleasing movies, like entertainment, pure entertainment movies, are just that, or they're based on properties because it's just what they sell. Because they're like, well, it's made to entertain, we'll just use this because we know it'll entertain, and that's like a investment that we know we're going to get back.
Yeah.
But there's this gap of just films that are entertaining. Like, I want all kinds of films that are fucking entertaining. And I think Glass Onion falls into that. It's a film that's made to please. It's not made to be anything more than that, really.
Yeah.
Like, it's made
100%.
to be a film that's watched by people and enjoyed by people. It's not some fucking art piece, and it's not like a big action movie. It's just a film that's made to entertain and please, and that's what we're missing.
I think it's a film that will end up in a lot of normal people's like top 10s or top 5s.
100%.
Yeah. I realised that when I said that thing about the glass onion, all I said was that there is a glass onion in it. It's called glass onion. There is a reason for that. And it's like there's recontextualization of the title within the film.
Have you
It's not just that there is a glass onion in the film.
Have you heard about the Beatles glass onion thing?
Yes.
That was so cool when I read that. I was like, what?
Yeah.
And like, just by reading up about it, don't read up about it until you watch it.
No.
But if you read up about that kind of almost just tells you what the film's about before watching it. It's genius.
So good. I think that the casting was incredible.
Yeah.
All of the characters, like
Kate Hudson steals nearly every scene she's in, and I can't believe it. She's so
whoever
funny.
is Rian Johnson's casting director just does a superb job every single time.
Incredible.
Yeah. So my problems with it, and there are only a few. The first one is that side character, Derek. Is that his name?
Do you know what his deal is? Like the actor and everything. Okay, yeah.
I know why. Like,
why he's there.
Kind of, yeah.
It's just because he's friends with Rian Johnson. He's in all his films. No,
but the character is based on Rian Johnson's friend.
No, he is Rian Johnson's friend.
The actor, yeah, but like, is it the same person, or is it like I think he has a friend and he based the character on it?
It's maybe that he based the character on, but the idea purely was that guy is in every film. He's in the first film.
Who is he in the first
The actor
film?
he's the other detective. He's not Lakeith, but he's the other one.
Right, okay, sure.
And when you see it's him, you can really see it's him. But the idea is he's just in all his films, and so it was like, how am I going to work out how to put him in my film?
Yeah.
And then it was like, it'd be kind of funny if there was just this guy.
Yeah, sure.
And I like the joke personally, but I can understand why not.
Yeah, it wasn't for me personally.
Yeah.
Because he just goes and sits with him on the daybed at the end, doesn't he? Kind of weird. It's not that big of an issue, but I don't particularly like it.
That's fair.
The CGI is a lot more noticeable in this one, I think.
In what CGI bits are you thinking of? Because I can't think of any.
It's like, I think a lot of the backgrounds and stuff are CG at certain points, and I think it's quite noticeable.
I think I noticed it maybe in The Glass Onion a little bit, but even then, not much.
Okay, no, that's fair enough. I just think that Knives Out is obviously just it's set in a mansion, isn't it? So there's not much going on with they don't really need CGI and stuff. It's just set in.
No, they CG'd the painting in though. The painting of the guy who dies in it.
Oh, Thrombey.
Christopher Plummer's character. Yeah, that's entirely CG. They didn't have the portrait when they filmed.
That's cool.
So,
that's fine.
Cool.
Yeah, not noticeable. But it just a little bit more. Maybe it was the color grade or something. I don't know. Maybe. It just it looked a little bit more fake.
I think it definitely has less of a. But then I know that Knives Out was filmed. It's the first film that Rian Johnson made not on film. I think it had been filmed digitally, but he specifically made it look like it was made on film. With
maybe that's what it is. Yeah.
So maybe it's a case of that. Maybe they didn't do that this time.
Yeah.
I do kind of see what you mean though. There is definitely something about the first one where it feels.
It looks nicer.
It looks nicer.
Yeah.
But then it might just be down to our preference of palette.
But
do you know what I mean? It's a very different vibe.
It's like an old country mansion.
I do kind of love that the Glass Onion place feels like a James Bond villain hideout from an old James Bond film, and the fact that Daniel Craig obviously being James Bond and being Benoit Blanc. So I thought that was really fun.
And then my only other issue, which I don't think I want to talk about too much because we're avoiding it, but it's the ending.
Yeah, I think the
payoff for the mystery, perfect.
Yeah,
absolutely love it. The thing that happens afterwards, not as much of a fan of.
No, you're right. I definitely agree. I think I didn't have as much of a problem on my second watch.
Right.
I still don't love it. I think there's a tidier way to end it than the way they did.
Yeah, it is what it is. I still love it a lot.
Yeah.
The first one is far superior in my opinion, but I like both of them. I would easily watch it again.
Yeah, like I said, I think the first one is more special. I think it's more unique, but the second one I had a lot of fun with.
Yeah. And I'm excited to see where Benoit Blanc goes next.
Yeah, who knows? I just want more of his home life, honestly. That was my favourite bit.
Yeah. So we're snapping back to reality, aren't we? You gotta face the consequences of your actions. And the ref has come over to you, and he's had a chat with the ambulance driver.
Are they talking about what my number 6 is by any chance?
He pulls out a yellow card, and on it is written. What's your number 6?
Why have you become me? I feel like this is something I do. My number 6, ref, is...
I'm not the ref. Why are you talking to me?
I'm talking as if I'm talking to the ref. Leave me alone. My number 6 is Belfast.
Oh, interesting. I missed this one.
It's a film that I would have...
Did it come out this year?
It did come out this year.
That's crazy.
It's a film that I would have missed.
Yeah.
But my parents wanted to watch it. Mm-hmm. And so I managed to get hold of it. And I showed it to them. Or I watched it with them. And I was blown away by it. It's just it's got such a homely vibe. Mm-hmm. Even though I didn't grow up in Ireland during the Troubles.
Did you not?
No, surprisingly.
Really can't tell with the accent.
I know, it's really difficult. There's something about it. It's really homely. I think there's elements of the family in it that kind of I could connect to my family. I think that might be part of it.
Yeah, sure.
But it's just about obviously it's semi-autobiographical. It's directed by Kenneth Branagh, thank you. And it's kind of about his childhood. Mm. And I think it's just really interesting piece about him falling as a kid working things out and being part of this world that's kind of scary, but not knowing fully why and not being able to comprehend that. And there's this element of him his relationship with his nan, played by Judi Dench, who's fucking incredible in it. And there's a sequence where he goes to the theatre and he watches a play for the first time.
Yeah.
And the actors on stage are cut in colour, but the rest of the film's in black and white. And it's it brings this thing in the element of him without telling you anything, and it's not really a part of the film in terms of the plot doesn't end up with him seeing that and then he's like, I'm going to be an actor, and then he goes and does that. But without even without knowing that Kenneth Branagh is the person this is based on, you watch it and you're like, oh, this means something. Yeah. To him, he's seeing something that means something really impactful to him. So you know that one day in life he's probably going to do something like that. There's also an amazing scene where they all go and see Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Nice.
It would have been the year it came out.
Yeah.
Or at least around the time. And again, the screen's in colour, but everything else is black and white. And there's an amazing bit where they're all sat, the whole family goes to the cinema, and they're all sat in a row watching it, and it's this bit where Chitty Chitty Bang Bang drives off the cliff and flies.
Yeah.
And as it does, they all move forward in their seats and go, whoa, whoa! Like it's like mind blown, and it makes sense.
Love that.
But yeah, that's the thing, and it really touched me, and I was like, man, I fucking love this. This is so beautiful, and yeah, it's just such a lovely film. And I think if you're into film, I think it's a film that's worth watching, just because it really does kind of remind you how great and magical it can be. Yeah. But also, it's just a great fucking film. Like
that's cool.
Film.
I love it when you find a special film like that.
Yeah. I was really shocked by it. It's kind of similar to last year. My favorite film of the year was Spencer, and it's a film that I wouldn't have seen if not for someone else. And then upon seeing it became my favorite film of the year. That's cool. While Belfast is my favorite film of the year, it's still a film that I'm so glad that
you watched.
I ended up watching.
I really wanted to watch it, but I was like, if I don't catch it in cinemas, I know that I'm never going to watch it, and I haven't. So there we go.
Well, don't make it never. Be the change you want to see.
I haven't got time.
You have. Doing a fucking podcast.
So,
what's your number 6?
My number 6 is a very recent watch. It's The Whale.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I haven't seen this yet.
No, I'm slipping this in because I watched it on the 31st of December.
Son of a bitch.
I know. So
I think you can watch stuff after.
Yeah, But there's only one film that I watched after, and it's not on the list. Okay. But so yeah, The Whale. It just kind of blew me away. That I was excited for it. I'd seen so much stuff from. Was it Cannes it showed at?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah. And like he got a standing ovation and stuff. Yeah, and I kept seeing that scene where he was like, "Do you ever think that people are incapable of not caring or something?" I can't remember what the exact line is, but like that line, that scene, I kept seeing it everywhere. I was like, "Oh my god, this feels like it's gonna be good." Yeah. And it was really good. Yeah. I really liked it. You were saying that he was the best bit and the rest of the film was mid.
I haven't seen it. That's what I've heard generally. Yeah.
Personally, I didn't really. I didn't see that. I thought it was good,
and I don't think the film's good.
I think he is obviously the best part of the film, but I think the film, around the rest of the characters around it are really good as well. Okay. I think Sadie Sink does a really good job. Yeah, really interesting character. The carer, no idea what her name is. Let me see if I can find it. Liz, it's just called Liz. Liz was really, really interesting. Okay. Just like, I like people in films who talk very matter-of-factly. They're just like, this thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, they just say, like she comes in and she's got a wheelchair and he's like, what have you got that for? And she's like, it's a big wheelchair for fat people. Get on. And like, do you know what I mean? Like, she just like...
You make it sound like it's like the Terminator. My name's Carrie's. Come with me if you want to live. It's a big wheelchair for fat people. Get in.
Yeah, I just like... It was really heartfelt. There was a couple of bits at the end where you're like, I don't quite understand what the point of this was. But I don't think it took away from the film. And I think it's something that it makes you think about it. And you're like, how does this work in the context of the film? Yeah. There's a couple of characters that you obviously don't know about because you said there's like 3. There's a couple more. Yeah. I don't want to say anything because I think they're really cool. They're really interesting characters. One of them is one that Sadie Sink is like interacting with a fair amount. Okay. And I think that's really cool.
I assume it's her mum, but carry
on. Maybe. You'll find out. It's based on a play. And plays adapted into films. They can obviously go one of 2 ways. They can go the Cats route.
I would argue Cats isn't a play, it's a musical. But carry on.
No, that's a joke. They can go the route of sticking to the source material. Yeah. Or they can do the thing where they use the source material but they add, right? There's a couple of characters in this and stories in this where they're telling a story of how they got to the situation they're in. Yeah. In a lesser film, they would show that. Yeah. Right? They would just have that as an extra thing. I think it works so much better sticking with the one location bit. Yeah. And like just having these characters like talk about these things. And yeah, obviously it's just like it's tell don't show kind of stuff. But they're telling a story, but you're seeing the effect that this had on these people, and like the emotion is coming out of. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's just really good acting, and I loved it. It just really worked for me. The very, very ending, literally the last thing that happened, I was a bit like, oh. But the bits before that, I was like, very nice. Yeah. It nearly made me cry. Okay. Not quite though.
Okay.
But nearly.
It's definitely on my anticipated or need to watch.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that a bit later.
Yeah. And I'll just say that not many films make me cry.
It's true.
Yeah.
Except for
Klaus, every single time.
Okay.
And Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, the first time I watched it, not the second time.
Not the second time. Never the second time.
And I don't think any others that I can think of.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Mine's anytime Sam says anything in Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
Tarzan.
Obviously.
Normally, actually, now I think about it, there's not many films, but do you know what? There's weirdly a lot of TV shows.
Oh, really?
Watchmen has a scene near the end that makes me cry.
Interesting.
In the series. It's fucking beautiful. And Ted Lasso makes me cry nearly every episode.
Yeah, no, Ted probably gets me close to crying, yeah.
Yeah, weird. I never thought about that until just then.
So, snapping back to reality.
Oh, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 makes me cry as well at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Forgot
nice.
that. Carry on.
You've sulked over to the subs bench. I know. And the ambulance and the crew, they're all still there. They're all sorting their stuff out. And you sit down on the bench.
Yeah.
And the sub next to you leans over and he whispers in your ear, "What's your number 5?"
God damn it. What is this team?
They're just so invested in what your favourite films of the year are.
I don't want them to be. So, number 5 is...
Spit it out.
Sorry, the name is really hard to remember, even though I just looked at it. He's looking at it.
What?
You understand when I say it. It's not a normal name. The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
okay.
okay.
Right.
It's not an easy name to remember.
This one just got knocked out of my top 10.
We saw this together.
Yeah, I think we talked about this before and I forgot that we saw it together.
Yeah, thanks. The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, Nicolas Cage film where he plays Nicolas Cage.
He plays movie Nicolas Cage.
He plays Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
I fucking loved it. I think it's
so good.
It's so funny. The fact that Pedro Pascal steals the film in a film where Nick Cage plays himself is kind of insane. Like, the fact that Pedro, like, coming out of the film, I wasn't like, Nicolas Cage fucking hilarious. I was like, Pedro Pascal's fucking hilarious. Like, oh my god, he cracked me up every scene in that film. It's just, again, it's kind of that thing of the films that don't get made much now.
Yeah.
And I can't remember
so
the last
silly.
time I've been to a cinema to see a comedy. Because I didn't even really know it was a comedy going into it. I didn't know what it was. Like, I knew it was going to be... No. I knew it was going to be funny, but I didn't realise it was going to be, like, as much of a comedy as it was. Like, because it kind of is just a comedy with a little bit of action in it.
Yeah.
Like, the joke being it turns into a action film they parody. Like, that big...
Speaking of the word action,
Yeah.
the best joke in the whole thing is when he's about to die from that poison stuff and the guy on the intercoms just shouts "action." And he just gets up and he's fine.
It's Tiffany Haddish.
Yeah. Oh,
she shouts
best.
action, then he just... It's so fucking genius.
So good.
Yeah, it's a kind of film you rarely see now. It really reminded me of Tropic Thunder, and I love Tropic Thunder. It's just parody while also, like, being original and having heart and, like...
Yeah.
I just fucking love it.
It has a really nice heart to it.
It really does.
It really,
and again,
like,
I haven't
gets
been
you.
to a cinema in so long where so many people have just been together laughing.
Yeah.
And, like, that felt so fucking good and, like, cathartic.
Yeah.
And, like, oh my god, it's so fun. It's so entertaining.
I walked out of that cinema with a massive smile on my face.
Yeah, it's hard not to.
Yeah,
and
so
also, the
good.
best line of the film is young Nick Cage, who's played by Nick Cage, kissing Nick Cage and then going, "That's right, Nick Cage smooch is good." Tell him, Nick Cage smooch is good. Like, what? Incredible.
Yeah, I love those scenes. It was like a internal thing, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It was
yeah. It's just like
so good.
young Nick Cage in his head, who I think they gave also his name before he was Nick Cage in the credits. That's what he's listed as.
Oh yeah.
He's like, I think it's like Nick Cage played by Nick Cage, and then like Nick Cage or young Nick Cage played by, and then like his birth name.
Yeah.
Which I think is really funny. It's just, it's fucking great, and like nobody else could have done it. Only Nick Cage could be.
It
that
had to be a
character.
Nick Cage film.
And like the balls on that man to play that.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god. Like, because he rips himself apart.
Yeah.
And like the Paddington 2 bit about how like
Yeah.
he's never seen it.
He's doing
and
the
then,
top
like,
films of all time.
yeah, and then Pedro Pascal says about Paddington 2, and he's like,
Paddington
what are you talking?
2?
And then he shows it to him, and like he's crying.
Yeah.
They both are. It's fucking amazing.
I think I saw that recently on like a reel or something.
Yeah, it's
such
fucking
good
such a
scene.
good. I need to rewatch that film. I haven't seen it in a while. But yeah, fucking amazing film. And immediately as soon as I saw it, I was like, that is in my top.
Yeah,
And
it
it
was-
was top like free for a while, and then it was just that other films came out.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I did push it down a bit for other films, but it is very deserving of a top 10 spot. It's such a good film, and I think it sits into the Glass Onion category you were talking about of like just entertaining.
Exactly, that's what I'm talking about. You'll notice there's a trend in my top films of that.
Yeah,
yeah,
so good.
What's your number 5? I forgot.
My number 5. I don't think we're going to talk about this right now because I'm pretty sure you got it higher. Nope.
I'm saying nope.
Yeah.
I don't have it on my list.
You don't?
No, I'm joking. Imagine. No, mine is.
Yeah, so we won't talk about
higher.
it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. It definitely is higher.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of. It's actually the next on my list.
Well, we'll.
Do you want to do your bit first? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I want to do my bit.
Go on then. Snap back to reality.
So you want to slither back into your real mind. And your manager's coming over. Your football manager.
Do you know what... sorry. I can't remember what it's called now, but do you know about the thing that kids do on TikTok where they try and phase into other realities?
No.
We'll
I don't have
TikTok.
Later,
but neither do I. I was told about this by my uni kids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called. I have to work it out, and people maybe listening will know. There's just a thing kids do now where they like try and phase into other realities where they're in Harry Potter.
That's so
and
sad.
That's kind of what you're doing to me.
Except it's
reality.
It is working.
Okay, yeah, so I'm sitting next to the sub.
Yeah, and your manager's walked over.
Okay.
And he's like, you okay? You doing all right?
No, I just kicked someone's head off, I think, maybe. I don't know what happened.
So what's your number 4?
Why? My number 4 is Nope, funny enough.
Is it? Wow.
Yeah.
That's such a surprise.
I mean, it's interesting that I'm just one higher than you.
I think you did like it more than me.
I love Nope. Nope's great.
Yeah.
I think... we saw it together, didn't we?
We did. And we saw it with your friend as well.
Nina, yeah.
Yeah.
Nope is just fucking... I love Jordan Peele. I think all 3 of his films are fucking great. I think there's a really interesting thing where I found with this film that out of the 3 of them, it's the one that spooks me the most. It's scariest. Gave me fears I didn't know I had.
Yeah, there's one particular scene.
The bit, like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can spoil this
one. We can spoil Nope. The bit where they're inside the alien...
They're being ingested.
Yeah, that scene...
Digested, yeah.
Haunting, horrifying.
Yeah.
And, like, as somebody who's already, like, claustrophobic, again, just kind of... And I'm scared of heights. So, like, it's probably the worst way I could die.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. But to be fair, it's a pretty bad way to go.
Yeah. And then they're just, like, crushed, I guess.
They're just, like... I think
because then there's the point where it kind of goes... like that.
Yeah.
And then you just... All the screams stop.
Yeah.
The fact it uses the screams, like, echo through it when it, like, uses the screams it's heard, I guess, is what's happening. When it flies over top of it, it goes like... like that horrible sound.
Yeah.
And it's just the screams.
Yeah.
Like, ugh. I fucking... It's so spooky, but it still has what I love about Jordan Peele, which is the element of... the characters... His characters are so well written. And I think he manages to do that thing... similar to Get Out and Us, where it's like, nah, these characters are taking control of this, right? In Get Out, he's put in this... It. Oh, okay, I won't say Get Out then. You've seen Us, right?
Yes.
In Us, she's put in this horrible situation, all this bad stuff's happening, but this family take control of that situation and they get out of it unscathed.
Yeah.
Nope, obviously, with the element of, what do you do when a fucking UFO turns up that turns out to be an alien that's trying to kill you? And they're like, no, we're not leaving. We're going to fucking deal with this because we get it.
That's the only point of the film.
I knew you were going to say that.
Well, I was a bit... I like... Obviously, you know why it has to happen because you want the spectacle stuff at the end. Yeah. But I was a bit like... I was a bit questionable on what their motivations were.
I kind of get that to an extent, yeah.
That's it. That's the only thing. It just like... It felt a bit off. I was like, why are you actually doing this?
Yeah.
Because they didn't even get the footage, really. They got the photo...
I do think there's an interesting debate about the morality of everything that happens in that film.
I mean, obviously it is tied very heavily into the theming of the film.
I think also there's something to be said about the scariest part of the film actually being the stuff with Gordy the ape. And that whole flashback sequence and all that stuff.
His performance when he tells the flashback stuff. So good.
Again, what's his name?
I can't remember.
Stephen Yeun.
Yes, that's it.
He's so good. Yeah, it was just really fucking cool. I do think out of the 3 films, the more I think about them, Us is my favourite.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, I know it's always like a shock.
Yeah.
I think Get Out doesn't hold up on a rewatch. I think once you've seen it a couple of times, you've kind of seen it.
Right.
I think Us has so much detail in it that if you really pay attention, and I think the ending of it is so interesting in terms of, again, morality and like what's right and what's wrong, and like I think it's more entertaining in the middle. I like how it kind of plays into being more of like a horror film with like the whole family chasing them and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like Get Out and Nope are more like thrillers. Us is a horror.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
I think that might be what it is. I'm very. More
Nope definitely is very, very scary.
Oh, but like I said, I still think that Nope is the scariest.
I would
one.
agree that it can be classed as a thriller.
Yeah, because it's more just like we're gonna figure this. It's like an X-Files episode more than anything.
Yeah.
And I think it's also really unique. I think I've never the concept of like just it being an alien. It's not a spaceship. It's a creature. And even then, when we say it's an alien, we don't even know if it's an alien. It seems like it's been around for years, like thousands of years maybe.
Yeah.
Like, it could just be of Earth.
Yeah.
I like that it kind of feels like a deep sea creature, how there's like elements of the sea that we've never explored and stuff.
Yeah.
Like kind of falls into that category of weird fish monster, but in the sky, and like the way it ripples and stuff.
Oh,
and
so
the
good.
dynamic Keke Palmer, who's fucking incredible in it, and Daniel Kaluuya's characters is so good.
Yeah.
And it's really fun to see a brother and sister in a film like that.
Yeah.
I feel it's been a while since we've had a dynamic like that done right. Yeah.
I'm sure there is one, but I just can't name one.
So there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I do agree. It's very fun. It does fold in its themes very well. But as I said, the only issue I have is like the motivation for why they do the thing at the end is like I think it's more theme heavy than more character heavy.
I think you're right.
Which is, it's fine. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It gets you to the point where they do the cool stuff.
Yeah.
But just like that turning point, I was a bit like, oh, I don't know.
I do agree to an extent.
But yeah, the theming and stuff, obviously on point.
I really like the
sticks the
kind
landing.
of fact that it doesn't, in an interesting way, it doesn't really shove the message of the film down your throat.
No.
Because like walking out of it, I still have questions about like what is it about, but like I do have my own ideas and things on it, which I like. I like the fact that I can look at it and be like, I can see something, and I'm getting something from it. But I'm very curious what Jordan Peele's full intentions were. But yeah, it's very cool.
And I think it's such a, because I think all of the advertising showed it as like a spaceship. Yeah. Right? That it's like, it's a spaceship, but then it's the twist that it's not. Love that.
Very cool.
Like yeah, because obviously this is one of those films where like you see the advertisement for, like you're gonna watch the trailers, you're gonna see the posters, and I think it does a really good job of hiding.
I saw 2 trailers that did a really good job of not telling me anything and making me want to see it. Yeah. And there was one trailer from the cinema that kind of felt like it spoiled shit, and that annoyed me.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But it was only one trailer.
Yeah. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Hey Jake, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is Top Gun Maverick.
Ooh.
Which I think we're not going to talk about.
Hang on. It's my next one. You're trailing. Or I'm trailing? I don't know.
You're trailing. I've seen better films.
No.
So
do you want to do your bit?
So there's a bit of a ruckus going on. Not really sure what's happening, and suddenly this guy that you've kicked somewhere, not sure where,
on the pitch.
Yeah. He just gets up, and he's fine. He's all right. He was faking it.
Bastard.
I know, those bloody footballers. So
he was a footballer then. I thought he was like just a random passerby or something.
Maybe.
Not maybe.
He's in the kit, but you don't know. You've never seen him before.
Okay.
This is your first football match. So your manager's like, he sits up and he's like, oh, okay. What's your number 3?
I hate this. Wait, my manager asked me again, so it was my manager last time and this time.
It was the ref for a couple of times as well.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like, why did the player get up? I have to do anything. My number 3, surprisingly, is Top Gun Maverick.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Best film of all time? No.
No, it's
because
not.
there's 2 in front of it.
I was going to say, yeah. 3 for you.
Yeah.
Top Gun Maverick's fucking sick.
So I wanna tell this story because I'm very angry at you.
Oh, for not seeing it. Okay, go on.
I went to see this film with Ewan. We both loved it. It was so good. And then we went swimming with you a couple of days later, and I was like, Alex, this is a very good film. You need to go and watch this at the cinema. It's very, very, very good.
And
you said, I don't like Top Gun.
Can I clarify something? That's not all I said.
Yes, it is. That's all I remember.
I don't like Top Gun, the original.
See, that's what I said.
No, wait. Also, but that being said, I want to rewatch Top Gun before I watch Top Gun Maverick. because it'd been a long time since I'd seen Top Gun. But because I don't like Top Gun, I kept putting off rewatching Top Gun. Then I did rewatch Top Gun, and I was like, I hate this movie. And so I just was like, you know what? I probably will watch Top Gun Maverick at a later date, which I did.
Eventually.
Not in the cinema.
No, because you put it in your review, and then I commented on it, and then you deleted comments.
Did I?
Yeah.
I didn't do that.
Oh, okay. Well, it said, like, you're unable to reply to this
no,
anymore.
I blocked you. That's what it was.
Yeah, no, I actually do remember that extra bit of the conversation. I said, I don't think you need to watch Top Gun again, because I've not seen it in
You're
a
totally
long time.
right, because I think Top Gun Maverick is totally watchable on its own. There is
100%.
Zero reason to watch the first one.
Yeah.
It's bad.
I remember enjoying it.
I
but
hate Top
haven't
Gun.
Seen it in a long
It's so
time.
bad. The new Top Gun Maverick is a better 80s film than Top Gun, which baffles me. It's just perfect. It really is. It's a perfect action-pleasing movie.
Good.
It's just fucking sick. Like,
yeah. This is what
everyone...
a sequel should be like.
Honestly. But it's not even... I don't even think it's a sequel. It's just its own...
I mean, it is, but like...
Yeah, but like,
it's
again,
its own
I don't
thing.
think you ever need to have seen the first one. In fact,
Yeah.
I think the first one, again, makes it worse. I think that you can fill in the blanks of what's happened in a really interesting way in your head, way more interesting than the first Top Gun ever could. Like the prequels and Star Wars. I think Tom Cruise just knows how to make one of these movies for some reason.
Yeah.
And like, as much as I don't like him, he's really good at it. It's just perfect. Like, really is. Like,
it is. There's nothing wrong with it.
nothing wrong. It's just like exactly what you want. It's him teaching a class of younger pilots. The idea of him being there because it's like, oh, you can either have your wings stripped from you or you can teach at Top Gun Flight Academy. And he goes there and they're like, we need to teach them to do this mission and we don't give a fuck if they die or whatever because we just need it done.
Yeah.
And Top Gun Maverick's like...
Tom Gun
Maverick, that's his name, yeah?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not sending anyone to their deaths. So he comes up with the single way it could ever be done.
Yeah.
And only he could do it. And he now
trains
teach
the fuck
these
out of
kids
them.
to do it. But one of the kids, it's his ex-partner who died. Like, as in flight partner.
His son.
It's their son.
Yeah.
So he's like, how am I gonna I gotta reach these kids. It's fucking perfect. All the younger actors who play those pilots are fucking great.
Yeah.
All I remember watching it, right? Again, I watched it at home, I watched it with my parents, and there was that character, Hangman.
Yeah.
Right? And they're like, why is he called Hangman? Because he'll leave you hanging. It's like,
Yeah.
oh. And like, as soon as like it kind of got to the middle of the film, I said out loud, I was like, you know what's going to happen, right? At the end of the film, something bad's going to happen, and you're just going to save them. Hangman.
Yeah.
It's like Hangman's going to be the one because that's how these movies work.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah.
I don't care if I can predict it. I
No,
want to
exactly.
predict it.
It's like...
And then it happened and I lost my shit.
Yeah. Because there are certain films where if you see the Chekhov's gun, then it ruins it. And you're like, oh. But this kind of film... You want to. You see all of it coming and you're like, I just can't wait for that to happen.
So good.
And every time it happens, you're like, perfect. That's exactly
There's
what I wanted.
There's also a joke in the film which I didn't see come in, but I said out loud, and then they said it, and it made me so happy, was when... I keep calling him Top Gun.
Tom Gun.
When Tom Gun Maverick, his full name, when he saves Rooster, and then Rooster comes back and gets shot down saving Maverick.
Yeah.
And then I joked, and I went, well, that made that fucking pointless, didn't it, for him? And then as soon as I said that, Maverick goes up to Rooster. He's like, what the hell did you do that for? I just saved you. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was funny. I was like, I'm glad that they made a point of referencing that. Yeah, that was dumb.
Cool.
Why'd you do that?
No, I think that the characters perfect.
Yeah.
The story perfect. But then on top of that, just the absolutely outstanding action set pieces.
I still have no idea where the visual effects start and end.
I know. Marvel's got nothing on them.
It's insane.
It's just so good. It's so good.
Perfect film.
It is perfect film. Perfect action film.
Not perfect enough.
No, it is not perfect enough. So
what's your number?
Oh yeah, I've not done my number 3.
No, that was
Crazy.
your number 4 and my number 3.
So my number 3 came out of nowhere. I didn't see any trailers, not even a poster really. I just saw it. It was on at Duke of York's, and we were like, "That sounds cool."
I'm trying to think of what it is.
So, Normal People, the TV show from a couple of years ago. Both of the leads in it, very good. Daisy Edgar-Jones obviously has gone on to
know what this film is now.
Big Hollywood stuff.
What's she done?
She's done one that is on my dishonorable mentions, which is
so she's not done that one.
Where the Crawdads Sing.
Okay.
There's one that I missed this year, which was Fresh.
Okay.
I think she's got a couple more things coming up, but like she's gone like kind of mainstream, like big, and fair play to her. She's very good at it. But Paul Mescal, I thought he'd kind of like dropped off the face of the earth. He'd not really done anything since, because Normal People was 2020.
Really? I didn't realize it was that long ago.
It was first lockdown.
Oh, wow.
And then he came out with it, and I saw that he was in it. I was like, okay, I'll watch it. It's got Paul Mescal in it.
Yeah.
And it's After Sun.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about this. I haven't seen it yet.
I walked into it knowing literally nothing apart from the fact that Paul Mescal was in it.
Yeah.
And I loved every second of it.
Man, I need to watch this movie.
Everyone was so good.
Yeah.
Just, his performance was exceptional.
Yeah.
Like, so good. Do you want me to tell you a bit of what it's about?
Yeah. Go for it.
So it's about a dad and a daughter,
yeah.
and Paul Mescal's the dad, and he's like a very young dad.
They're on holiday, right?
Yeah, he's about 30. He's playing a 30-year-old, so obviously had his kid when they were like 18, 19.
Yeah.
So like very young dad.
Yeah.
He's very troubled. He's struggling a lot with his mental health.
Yeah.
He's broken up from his mum, from his mum.
Oh god.
From the kid's mum.
Yeah.
They're not together anymore, and he's taking his kid on a holiday, and they're just trying to have a nice time at the hotel, and it's like, it's a no plot, just vibes, pretty much.
Yeah.
There's obviously his internal struggle going on, and there's stuff with the kid going on.
You're with the characters rather than
They're just in the hotel. They're just doing stuff, and it's just like, it's just such a joy to watch along to.
Yeah.
I loved so much of it. There's like, the kid is like trying to be a bit more adult and doing like, she makes friends with like some like 16-year-olds, and the dad is like really trying to make this like a good holiday for his daughter.
Yeah.
He's like trying to have a good time with her. It's just really nice. It's just a really nice film to watch.
Man, I need to watch it.
Yeah.
I'm like, all I've heard is outstanding things about it.
Yeah.
Nobody has a bad word to say about it.
The final shot of the film, I think, is my favourite like final shot of any film this year.
Have you seen the trailer for it?
No.
I'm wondering if it's in the trailer. There's a shot in the trailer that
I'll watch the trailer afterwards and I'll tell you.
Yeah, I'm curious.
It's really cool. It's just like lots of scenes stitched together in a cool way, and like how it's just. I don't want to like say too much, but like, it's just lovely. It's just really nice.
Fuck, I need to watch it.
You do. Yeah, you really do.
Damn it. Yeah,
it would
on my list of films that I haven't seen.
Yeah, so
it would have been number one any other year. Is that what you're gonna say?
No, it's my top.
I guess you've still got two more, haven't you? So I keep forgetting.
So number 2 through to number like 4 or so.
I was like, well, there's only
10.
one after.
Yeah,
number 2 through to 1.
No, 2 through 4 are very like switchable for me.
Okay,
I
interesting.
Because After Sun is the most recent one I've watched.
Yep.
Top Gun Maverick I watched ages ago, but it stuck with me a lot.
And then number 2.
Next one I watched ages ago, and it's also stuck with me quite a lot.
That's fair.
So they're like, they're probably quite interchangeable. Maybe they will change around.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved it so much.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, it was really good. But forgetting that, you got a football match.
Wake up.
Yeah. Come on, wake up. Get your head in the game. The ref has come over to you and he's pulling you onto the pitch.
I'm like, I don't want to.
And as a gesture of goodwill after all of this nonsense, they're going to give you a free...
Wait, what nonsense? Are we talking about the guy and the ambulance, or are we talking about every single fucking person here asking me, what's my number blank, without any context?
It's the kicking thing.
Okay. Okay.
Because the guy was faking it, and the rules of football are very vague, they're going to give you a penalty. That's the one where you just kick it.
I know.
They just put it in front of the goal, and it's just you and the goalie, just one person.
Okay.
One film, maybe. Oh. And you've got to kick it.
Okay, I'm ready to kick it.
Yeah?
I take 2 steps back.
You take 2 steps back, and the referee whispers over your shoulder.
You son of a bitch.
What's number 2?
I whiff it. My number 2 of 2022 is 2022. It's Bullet Train.
Oh, I knew this was on the list. Yeah, okay.
I fucking love Bullet Train.
I meant to watch this and I just didn't get around to it.
Again, like I said, a lot of my top is pure entertainment movies. Bullet Train is exactly that. Fucking love Bullet Train. It's so funny. It's so fun. The action's sick. I love David Leitch directed it. One of my favorite working directors.
David Lynch.
No, David Leitch. Leitch. One of my favorite working directors right now.
Yeah, he did Deadpool, didn't he? Or Deadpool 2.
He did Deadpool 2, Atomic Blonde, this, and he did Hobbs and Shaw, which isn't good, but I watched Hobbs and Shaw purely because I found out he directed it. And if you took out all the Fast and Furious bullshit that's in it, it would actually be really good, and it's because of David Lynch. Okay. And he also did the first John Wick he co-directed.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
like he's got
that's fun. That's good.
He was a stuntman. He was specifically Brad Pitt's stuntman for a long time. First meeting on Fight Club, I believe it was, is where they first worked together.
Okay.
And it's so good. It just feeds into exactly what I want. It's again comedy, action. It's got a really fun plot where it's like it's one of those plots where it's like there are loads of different characters. They're all connected by one or two things.
Yeah.
And but you don't really know that, and then you're kind of watching as you're like, how is this all? Why are they all here? Who's kind of orchestrating shit? 'Cause something's going on.
Right.
And seeing that all come together and seeing the characters interact is so fucking entertaining.
That's cool.
Yeah, I just fucking love it. One of the best things I heard was when I watched it. I loved it. Like, I was like, that was fucking amazing. That's like, I can't remember if it came out before or after the number one. I think it came out after. It was, I really, in my head, there was a split second where I was like, is this my number one? But then I remembered number one came out and I was like, it's not my number one.
Yeah.
But it's definitely number two.
Okay.
But I remember I spoke to our friend JC, and because he's the only person I knew who'd seen it. And so I was like, dude, I just watched it. It's fucking amazing. He was like, oh, I'm so glad you liked it. Because there was like one thing I thought while watching it. And I was like, what's that? And he was like, this feels like a film that Alex would make. And I was like, yes! Like, that's what I want to give up. Yeah, it's just so entertaining. All the characters are really fun and quirky. There's like jokes in it that feel like they shouldn't work, especially at the beginning. But then actually as they go along, it turns out they're like really fucking good, like impactful.
Right.
There's an early joke about one of the characters played by oh fucking hell, you've got Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yeah. You got
Paperboy, who his real name is
Brian Tyree Henry.
Byron Tyree Henry, that's it.
No John
no
in there.
O's or Johns. Brian Tyree Henry. He plays
Lemon
and
Tangerine.
That's it.
I'm really feeding you lines.
You are. Lemon and Tangerine, two of the best characters, and like anyone you'll speak to has seen it will say the same. There's a running gag where he talks about how growing up he watched Thomas the Tank Engine, and that taught him everything you need to know about people, and now he's really good at reading people. And he says that he explains that people are the different engines, and he has a little thing of stickers of each train.
Amazing.
And he goes like, so for instance, if you're helping people out, you're a Thomas. But Thomas is very rare. He's like, but you know what? Someone you don't want to meet is a fucking Diesel. Fuck Diesel.
I feel like I've seen this
and
scene.
Like, it's like the first time I saw that scene, I was like, this is not that great.
Yeah.
But then, because like, it feels like it's a weird one-off gag, but it turns out it's actually a massive linchpin in the plot. And as it goes forward, the gag keeps recurring, and the more it recurred, the more funny it became.
Yeah.
Until it meant something, and I was like, oh god, it's hitting me. Like, this means something now, and it's emotional.
That's cool.
Like, it's really fucking good, and everyone in it's great. Brad Pitt's hilarious in it, and yeah, I fucking love it.
Yeah, I think that's on my list of like beyond 2022. I probably will catch up and watch that.
It's got issues. I think it has a problem with there's a lot of bad CG in it.
Oh.
But then it's like, I feel like it comes with the territory of this kind of film.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a sort of film like that will become a cult classic, I think, in some regard.
Right.
Whereas, like, I'm trying to think of an example now of like a film that we're all like, this is sick, but we look at it and we're like, this isn't good about it, but like, it's great. But like, almost The Matrix, like.
Yeah.
But then The Matrix is just aged poorly more than anything.
I don't think the first Matrix has.
No, I mean like in terms of effect stuff.
I still think it looks.
You need to rewatch The Matrix. Rubber people everywhere. Yeah, I don't know, but I fucking loved it.
That's cool. Yeah, I really want to watch it.
Yeah, great film.
I think as soon as you said you watched it back in like August, I was like, yeah.
I just bought it on 4K.
Oh, maybe I'll come over and watch it.
Please do. It's so good. Okay, what's your number two?
So my number 2 was my number 1 for a very long time.
Really?
Yeah, it was.
So what? Your number 2... Oh, sorry. Okay.
My number 2 was my number 1.
I thought you meant your number 1 was number 2 for a long time and they switched. Okay. Sorry.
I don't know what you're saying.
I thought you meant your current number 1
yeah.
was number 2.
It was further down than that.
Not this film.
No, not this film. The other one.
The other one.
It was further down.
What?
Yeah.
What happened?
We'll talk about it.
It's blown my mind. Yeah. Okay, carry on. Sorry.
So this film was my number 1 film for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
I loved it, but then I rewatched the number 1 film, and then it pushed it.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Carry on. What is your number 2 film? We just never say what it is.
So number 2 is The Worst Person in the World.
Go on, make
it's
a
Alex.
Yep.
Yeah. It is.
Still haven't seen this.
A very really special film. It's within the same realm of After Sun, like same vibe. It's just
no
about
plot, just vibes.
Yeah, no plot, just vibes. But it's like about a woman who's like, she's just kind of stumbling through life. It's about her turning 30, and she's like, oh my god, mortality, blah blah blah. And like she has relationships. Like she has a relationship with one guy for the first half, relationship with another guy for the second half.
Yeah.
And it's like it's just about her life, and just her living. It's a little bit pretentious in places.
Yeah.
Like at the very start, is like a story told in 12 parts, an epilogue and a prologue, and then you get those things, and it's like got chapter titles and stuff, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Like some of the chapters are very short, some of them are very long.
I like that.
It's just very cool.
Yeah.
There's just some stunning visuals in it. Probably have seen some of it.
I have the bit where time stops.
Yeah,
I think that's like the poster, isn't it?
It is the poster, yeah. So there's the bit where time stops. She it's so good. She just flicks a light switch, and then just everyone freezes, and then she runs out and does the thing.
Yeah.
I won't say like too much about it. And then she just kind of runs back and flicks the light switch, and everyone carries on with their day. And it's just beautiful. Do you know what I mean? Like those moments in films where it's just beautiful to watch.
Yeah.
There's another scene that like is quite popular of the two of them. There's her and one of the partners interacting, and like she blows smoke in his mouth or vice versa. I can't remember which way. That's quite an iconic shot in the film. It's just really nice. It raises a lot of nice questions, or like interesting questions. It's very sad at times, but then at the end it's got that bittersweet note to it to leave you with, not like happy or sad. It's just kind of like it's carrying on, you know, she's getting on with life, and it's just really nice. I really enjoyed it. It really spoke to me when we watched it.
Comparable at all to Fleabag, having not seen it?
It's not a comedy in any way, but potentially in some ways. It's very, I mean, obviously like construction wise it's very different to Fleabag. In like it's not comedy, it's not got fourth wall breaking, it's not all that kind of stuff.
But like, is it about like being a woman in like contemporary world, if that makes sense almost?
Yes, there is definitely a sense of that. She writes
but it's not necessarily what it's about. But
she writes an article that like gets published about, I can't actually remember what it's about. It's been so long. I watched this film in like February. And it just really stuck with me. She writes a blog about like, in some regard, about being a woman, and like I think it's about sex of some kind, and like maybe potentially like being used for sex and stuff like that. I can't really remember. And then like that's a big part of the film going forward, because her partner is a cartoon drawer. And stuff, and like she starts to like kind of outpace him, but just from this one thing and stuff like that, and he's a bit jealous and that. It's just really nice. It was a really nice film. Really stuck with me for a really long time, and I really enjoy it.
I mean, all I've heard again is good things. JC is his favourite film of the year, I believe.
Oh, nice.
Unless he's seen something since I last spoke to him.
And then this one also had a Q&A afterwards.
Yes, sorry, I forgot you said
that. So this one had a Q&A with the director as well, which was like, it was such like a surreal experience to watch this film for the first time, knowing very little about it, and being like kind of blown away by it, and then have the director come in. And so the first one, the pleasure one, it was more answering questions about elements of the film, like about the porn industry, rather than about the film. In that kind of way, like research and that kind of stuff. This one was more about asking about the emotion and the like the thoughts and stuff behind the film. Which was like so interesting to be taking on board that information, whilst also processing what you just watched. Which I thought was such an interesting experience for me. That's cool. Yeah, because there was a lot of people who'd already seen it in the cinema, and then a lot of people were watching it for the first time. And yeah, it was just like, it was such an interesting like experience to have. The questions weren't that interesting that people asked. Yeah. But just like the way that he talked about why he made this film and stuff, and how his previous films always were sad at the end. And he was like, I wanted to do something a bit more bittersweet, and I was like, I think it works perfectly for this. And yeah, it's just a very special film. Yeah. It nearly broke into my top 4 on the thing on Letterboxd, but I'm still thinking about it.
That's fair.
Yeah. So
interesting. So now
before we snap back to reality. Now we're snapping back to reality.
Oh, okay.
We're snapping back, and you're taking your deep breaths. You see the ball in front of you, and the goalie in front of that.
Fucking ref whispered in my ear.
Yeah, he's been fired. He's gone.
Oh, thank God for that.
No, he's not. He's just a couple of steps back. And you breathe in. You get in your head in the game. It's just you and the ball and the net and the goalie. There's no fans in sight. Apart from one.
And one fan.
And it turns out it's a streaker on the pitch, and he's running across towards you, and you're like, what's going on? I'm not focused at all. And he comes running up to you, and as he's running up to you, he's screaming and shouting, and he's saying, what's your honourable mentions? What's your dishonourable mentions? And what's ones you wish you'd watched?
Is he just repeating that?
Yeah.
Fucking weirdo. Okay.
I feel like we should be quite quick with this.
Yeah, no, we'll just list them off.
Oh, Jesus. So, I think honourable mentions.
Honourable mentions.
So, films that didn't quite make it into the top 10, but you really liked.
Yeah, let me look at my thing.
I'm going to list off a few quickly.
I'm still confused as to whether Licorice Pizza counts as a film from this year or last year.
I'm saying it does because it released in the UK this year.
Okay, then I think Licorice Pizza for me is on my honourable mentions.
I think that would be on my either dishonourable or my just a film.
Oh, see, I really, really liked it. I think I think it's just such a slice of life film in a really fun way.
Right.
I think it's really easy to just sit and watch. I just really liked it.
Fair enough.
I really enjoyed it. X is obviously on my honourable mentions. Oh, yeah. 3,000 Years of Longing was at the bottom of my list for a long time.
Oh, I wanted to watch that. I'm so sad I missed it.
It's a really weird film. I think it has a really good beginning and middle. Okay. And then the end is so bad that it makes me not like the film.
Oh, that's sad.
And it's very confusing. Right. It's a weird film.
Avatar, The Way of Water.
Still haven't seen that.
It's
honourable or dishonourable?
Honourable. It was very good.
Yeah.
The visual effects obviously are stunning.
Yeah.
For me, the story was a little bit weak. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't. I don't think it was weak. It was just like samey kind of thing. It didn't do anything, and it's like that's fine, but it just didn't really do it for me. The Banshees of Inisherin. I only watched it last night, so I'm not really including it.
I think I put it on my honourable. Yeah, but like with the caveat that I don't love it. Wakanda Forever, For Love and Thunder, both on my dishonourable.
Yeah, all 3 of them are on my dishonourable.
Doctor Strange, I don't think I could put it on my honourable, but I wouldn't put it on my dishonourable.
It's on my dishonourable. All 3
I don't
Marvel
hate
films
it.
are.
It's definitely not a good year to
really
be a Marvel
not
fan.
Enjoying Marvel anymore. Don't Worry, Darling, I think is on my honourable mentions.
I still haven't seen it. I say still haven't. I don't know if I ever will.
No, you probably don't.
There was a film that came out called Wonderful on Netflix.
Oh yeah, I remember you.
Jesse Plemons. Oh my God, why can't I think of his name? Musician. Phil Collins. Lily Collins. Jesus Christ. Lily Collins, Jason Sudeikis, and Jesse Plemons in kind of. It's fun. It's like it's made as if it's kind of like an old time, like I say made like it's made like a contemporary film, but the plot and the structure and everything like that, and almost the way it's filmed, but in a contemporary way, it's like it's a kind of thriller film, almost like the Maltese Falcon, made from way back, and like the title Windfall and everything kind of harkens to that. Yeah, very fun film. It's a comedy. It's about Jesse Plemons and Lily Collins basically have this house in the middle of nowhere. And Jason Sudeikis is a thief, and he breaks into their house while they're not there to steal stuff, and they turn up, and so then it's just him kind of in this weird situation where he's never really been in a situation where he's had to like deal with people like this.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a comedy, but it's quite dark, and it's quite real in a funny way. It's just like, what do you do? Because it's like, I don't want to kill you people, but I will if it means I get away safely. He has like a gun.
Okay. Yeah,
It's very fun.
My last 2 honourable mentions. No, let's call it 3, but 2 of them are kind of the same. Along for the Ride and Do Revenge, very similar.
What's Along for the Ride?
It was like a Netflix one. It's like a coming of age. It's like girl goes somewhere she's never been before and it's like, I'm going to reinvent myself. Yeah. I love those kind of films for some reason.
Fair enough.
They're usually very bad. So it's really nice when there's a good one.
Yeah.
It had a lot more potential, as they always do.
Yeah.
But like, I think it did a fine job.
Yeah.
And Do Revenge is a very similar kind of thing.
I've heard of Do Revenge. That's the one with Maya Hawke and somebody else.
Yes.
Yeah.
They like want to get revenge, but they're like becoming besties at the same time.
Classic.
Dishonorable mentions. Oh no, sorry. My last honorable mention is one called Mindset. I don't think anyone will have seen this. It was a Brighton film. Got Steve Oram in it, the guy that's
sorry, I've heard about it. This played at Duke's, didn't it?
Yes, and they did a Q&A afterwards.
Yeah.
It was like, obviously low budget, it was fine, it was fun, but like, it's, you know, it's a first film for this guy. He's obviously done lots of shorts and stuff, but it's a first film, so I'm like, even though it's quite low down on my overall ranking, I'd like, you know, I think it's an honourable mention. I think it's good for a first film. Yeah. You know?
That makes sense.
Dishonourable mentions.
Go on.
All of the Marvel films. Men, which I enjoyed the first hour and 20 minutes of.
It gets bad.
And I hated the last 10 minutes so much that it is my 30th out of 33 films.
Yeah.
Worst film. Where the Crawdads Sing tries to be 3 things and does none of them well.
Oof.
Bones and All.
I still haven't seen that. I was interested.
Every single scene introduces a new, very interesting idea and then drops it for the next scene.
Excellent.
So annoying. My Policeman.
I started watching that and it was so bad I stopped.
Yeah.
I don't do that.
Really, really bad. Like, there's definitely a good story in there.
I'm a Harry Styles defender. I think he is a good actor.
He's not a good actor.
But, hear me out. I think he can be a good actor. I've seen him act well. In My Policeman, he was bad.
He was very bad in that.
I haven't seen Don't Worry Darling, but from what I've heard, he is bad.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's necessarily his fault as much as it is him because of his stardom being thrown in the deep end, acting in movies as leads when he's not that good.
Yeah.
Like, it's just because he has a name.
No, yeah. He really is not good in that film, and the film overall is not very good. As I said, I think there is a good film in there, but I think it would need a lot of work, a lot of restructuring and stuff. That's kind of it, really.
Yeah,
Everything else is just a film.
There's not much I've seen this year, I'm not going to be honest. Like, I feel like I've missed out on a few films.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the ones you've mentioned, After Sun, Worst Person in the World, Whale. There's a lot of stuff I didn't get the chance to see and I really wish I had.
Yeah.
I think would be on the list.
Yeah.
A few films actually that I didn't get to see that I really wanted to were Smile.
Yeah.
See how they run. Which I don't know if it would have been on my list.
That's
but
my
I
just
want
a
to watch
film.
Amsterdam, I'm very curious about.
I've heard it's bad.
I know, and I really want to know if it's as
it.
bad as everyone says because it doesn't look awful.
Yeah.
The other one was Decision to Leave.
Oh, I'm so sad I missed that.
I really want to see.
I'm just going to list all of mine off very, very quickly because there's a lot. On the Count of Three sounded very interesting about 2 people who like want to kill each other, kill themselves, and they're like, we'll do it to each other. Prey, Crimes of the Future.
That's one I didn't get to see that I really wanted to. Fuck.
Crimes of the Future, Good Luck to You, Leo Grande.
Yeah.
The Black Phone, Marcel the Shell with shoes on.
Cute.
Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Mad God.
Yeah.
Bullet Train, which we talked about. Emily the Criminal.
Yes.
Sounds cool.
I don't know if that's out yet fully.
Oh, is it not
for
us?
I might
maybe
be
it'll
wrong.
be on next year's. I'll have a look. Fresh. X.
Yep.
Even though I know it's bad, The Grey Man. I'm
so bad. That's
so
a dishonorable mention. I forgot I watched that. My thing is on Letterboxd, I try not to put up stuff that like I want to be mean about.
Yeah.
But then that is so fucking bad. Dude. Oh my god.
Nitram.
Yeah.
Hit the Road. Ambulance.
Yeah, I want to watch that.
Yeah. Sonic 2.
Yeah, I've still seen the first one.
Yeah. Happening, which sounds really interesting. I kind of want to watch The Rise of Gru.
I watched that, actually. I forgot I watched that. I would say, considering I'm a fan of Despicable Me and Despicable Me 2, I haven't seen any after that. But watching Rise of Gru, it's not good.
Okay.
But in my opinion, for like a kids film as well,
like
I think there are elements of it that are really good and funny.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, as a film, I think it's pretty bad.
Okay.
But yeah.
Fire of Love, The Woman King, Bros.
Yeah.
Amsterdam. Decision to Leave. That's it.
Cool.
Yeah, a lot of films that I'd missed this year.
Yeah.
But then I watched like 3 new films a month.
That's insane.
Which is quite a lot.
Yeah.
And I still miss so many.
Not the right ones.
Not the right ones. And then there's one small extra category, which is films that have released in America but have not released here, so will be on our next year's list, which is The Fabelmans, Babylon, and Tar are the 3 that I know of.
Yeah, I can't.
But I think there's a couple more.
I mean, I don't think Pearl's technically been released here. I torrented it.
Okay.
But I would have gone to cinema to see it. Just didn't come out in cinema.
So those 3 will be on next year's list, which is so funny. You're gonna have to wait a year to see if they're good. So the streak has been taken care of. They've tased him. You've kicked him a couple of times, maybe.
Oh, definitely.
Dragged off. The crowd have gone quiet again.
I kick him a couple of times, and then I'm sorry, I'm going to hijack this. I kick him a couple of times. I look up, and everyone's looking at me, and there's a bloody man on the floor, and then an ambulance pulls up, and I'm in a time loop. The streaker is the one that I kick.
That's not correct. That's not the ending of the story.
Come on.
The streaker actually does get put in the ambulance and taken off.
Also, we can do something.
Good. Yeah. Thank God we can use this ambulance we paid for. That's a relief. All the crowd have left by now. They're bored.
What crowd? You said there wasn't anyone.
There isn't. Exactly. They've all left. You're back focused, and you kick the ball. You run. You straight. Yeah. It goes straight in. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it goes in, and you scored, and the crowd goes wild. They're all back now.
What?
And they're chanting. What's your number one?
No!
What's your number one?
No! I dropped my knees. I think throwing it out there. If neither of us somehow picked this for number one at this point, imagine listening to this. Then you're like, wait, what? Maybe that's the better ending. Maybe we shouldn't pick it.
And goodbye.
Obviously, the number one film of the year, and there's lots of people that I spoke to that I was meeting people new at uni because I started a new year. I had new people in my classes, and one of the things I kept asking people was, "Oh, what's your favourite film so far this year?" And every single person said the same thing. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it. Said the same thing, and every time I'd be like, "Of course it is. Why did I fucking ask that? That's such a stupid question." Because everyone's favourite film this year is Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Because it's perfect.
It is. It's good.
There's not a film that's funnier, more heartfelt, emotional, epic.
Just as a little caveat quickly, this film made me cry.
First time I watched it. First time I watched it, I loved it. Second time I watched it, I cried.
Yeah.
Because I think, I've heard this from everyone I think that I've spoken to.
Yeah.
I think the thing is, the first time you watch it, it's a lot. And you're just kind of taking it all. I mean, that shot, I've genuinely thought I was having a seizure in the bit where it's just going through all the different universes in one shot of her face.
Yeah.
But then the second time you watch it and you realise what it's actually about, it fucking hits so well. And I fucking love the fact that they were like, let's sell this as if it's The Matrix. Let's make people think this whole thing is about, she's going to save the multiverse. Yeah. That's the concept.
Yeah.
When actually, that's nothing to do with fucking anything.
No.
It's actually about her and her relationship with her daughter and her husband and as a family and how they all work.
Yeah.
And her dad.
It's about saving her family, really, isn't it?
It's fucking beautiful, man. And every single actor in it gets their time to shine in perfect ways.
Yeah.
I mean, the actor who plays Waymond, who I can't remember his name, which is really annoying.
I'm going to look it
Short
up,
round from Indiana Jones.
He's
fucking incredible. I can't believe he hasn't really been acting since Indiana Jones / Goonies.
I feel like I'm going to mispronounce that.
I think it's Ke-Huy Quan.
Ke-Huy Quan.
I might be wrong with that pronunciation. But
I think he is.
What a beautiful character. And he's so funny. He's adorable. He's the scene from In the Mood for Love, essentially.
That's the bit that made me cry.
Yeah, and the bit where he's like, in another world,
in another time,
I would have loved to have done laundry and taxes with you.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the film, where she's talking to her daughter, and she says to her, "I don't care about any of this shit. I just want to be wherever you are."
Yeah.
And she's like, "How would you possibly ever do that? How would you? But you're just gonna ignore everything and block it all out." And she's like, "Yeah, if that's what it takes."
Yeah.
And it's literally, essentially what happens is it's about a mother reconnecting with her daughter when she finds out her daughter wants to commit suicide. If you really think about it,
right,
that's kind of what's going on.
You
could look at it from a less dark angle than that.
No, I think it's more of
it's about she's her giving up.
No, she's going to cut out her parents. She's giving up on her parents.
She's giving up on herself. She wants to step into the void and destroy everything, including herself.
No, yeah, that version of her, the version of her that exists at the start of the movie.
Oh yeah.
That's about cutting her parents.
I know that. I'm saying but it's that element of, and they show it at the beginning. While she might not be suicidal, it's that thing of she's not connected with her daughter, and her daughter has issues that she's not recognizing.
Yeah,
because she doesn't want to, and she's becoming her dad. But then, by the end of the film.
The payoffs.
Her character, I can't remember the daughter's name now for some reason.
Jobu
No. I mean, yeah, but...
Joy.
The version of Joy who is all the versions of Joy.
Yeah.
The fact that she says to her, I'm tired of this. I've been doing this for however fucking long I've been doing it, and it's impossible. I'm alone in this. Nobody else knows how I feel. I'm alone in this, and I'm done. And I found a way out, and I'm gonna do it. And essentially, it's about her mum going, "You're not alone.
Yeah,
I'm here."
Yeah,
in that scenario, that's what's happening. But obviously, on the the minuscule level, going back to the first universe, it is that element of just her being detached from her family. Even though that universe is, it's still there at the end.
That's the really messed up universe.
But yeah, it's interesting how it's fucking perfect.
Yeah.
They're how did they figure that out? How do they manage that?
Yeah, so good.
And how basic a lot of it is. The thing did you watch the video on how they did some of the effects and stuff?
Yeah, where he literally walked through with a GoPro or something.
Yeah, and it's they're geniuses. They just made the most expensive short film of all time. It feels made it feature length, which sounds weird, but. I don't know, it's fucking perfect. And
it's so good.
The fact that any of the gags work, the fucking butt plug gag is insane. What a weird fucking gag, but it worked. And the Rakakuni.
Rakakuni's one of the best characters.
So, hot dog fingers. And it's the fact they even say it in the film. When at the end of the film, when she's trying to stop her walking into the void, and she's gonna fight up the thing to get to her. And there's the person who attacks her, and then she uses the thing to go to another universe to gain something.
Yeah.
And she goes to Hot Dog Finger Land, and in that land, because nobody used their fingers, they use their feet.
Yeah.
So they can do something. And then she says the line where she's even in world where we have hot dog for hands, there is meaning and happiness. Yeah. Essentially, there's purpose.
Yeah.
And that's the message.
Yeah.
It's even in all these fucking weird universes, Rakakuni, Hot Dog Fingers, all of them, it's there is meaning and there's purpose in all our lives and there's purpose in all this stuff. You just have to kind of look for it.
Yeah.
And you will find it. And I think there's something beautiful about that, man. I think it's
so good. I think, so the first time I watched this movie, it was overwhelming.
Yeah.
My biggest gripe, I guess, was the ending, the payoffs. I felt that they were stacked next to each other.
Okay.
And I was it was diminishing returns between each one. And by the time you got to the daughter, it wasn't. I was detached because they'd done it so many times. But on rewatch, my favorite is still the first one with the husband. But it's so perfectly crafted how her resolution with the husband leads into her resolution with the dad, and then both of those leads into resolution with the daughter. It's she's learning something from every step that she takes, and it's so well crafted.
Incredible.
The bit where she goes back to that other universe where she's doing the resolution with her dad, and she's I won't do to my daughter what you did to me. I won't let myself do that. And then she's this is Joy, and this is her girlfriend.
Yeah.
And then you carry on with it, and she's no, I don't want to. It's so good. It's so good. And obviously the In the Mood for Love scene made me cry. It's such a good scene. The bit where
Waymond, that is his name. It's W.
It's Waymond.
The bit where he talks to Jamie Lee Curtis's character at this, after Michelle Yeoh goes crazy and starts hitting everything with a baseball bat.
Yeah.
And then you see him talking to her, and then she tells the police to stand down.
Yeah.
And then she says to Waymond, she's what did you say?
Yeah.
And he's I just spoke to her.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful. It's that thing of I love it. It's a communication and just the idea of just talking to each other. And
have you seen the video by Pop Culture Detective?
I don't think I have fully.
Everybody
I know what it
loves
is.
Waymond.
Yeah, which is a great title.
Yeah. perfectly embodies the whole of Wayman's character and how he, at the beginning of the film, he is this like kind of like, he's a bit like down on his luck, and he's a little bit clingy and like, do you know what I mean, like annoying in a way, and not very manly in like the traditional sense. But throughout the film, he doesn't change. He is that person, and she learns from him. We
like the character. We kind of go on a journey with her, and by the end, we're like, oh,
like he was good the whole time. You know, like she was neglectful.
There is strength in what he does. Like it takes courage to do anything. He does
and like that's the true strength of it. And like instead of just like beating everyone up and stuff.
The montage of him when she like thinks about him. And there's an amazing shot, and it kills me every time, where he's like, I think he's putting the Google eyes on something, and then he like looks around at the camera and he goes, oh, and then like runs away. It's so funny.
Love it.
It's beautiful, man. Like everything in that film is fucking. It's so lovely, and I love the final thing of at the very end of the film when she is in that place where she's at everywhere all at once, which also mirrors her at the beginning, where it's the idea she's all over the place.
Yeah,
like that never stops.
But then she's there. But even though she has
then
access,
when she's talking to Jamie Lee Curtis, and Jamie Lee Curtis starts talking to her and explaining the stuff, and then in her mind everything starts to come in, like because it's the thing. Yeah. She's in every universe, and then she's like, "Are you listening to me?" Yeah. And she looks up at her and she goes, I'm sorry, could you say that again? Essentially.
Yeah.
Which is something she never would have done at the beginning. Yeah. And it's like, if you take out the multiverse thing, that's all it is. Yeah. It's the fact she learns. She learns that like, oh, I need to be more present.
Yeah.
I think is the term.
Yeah, it is.
Like, whereas at the beginning, she's not paying attention, but every time Jamie Curtis will say something to her, she'll ignore everything Jamie Curtis said and say whatever she wants to say. Yeah. Which doesn't help.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So good.
I love it so much.
Such a perfect film.
Yeah. I've been recommending it to literally everyone I meet. Yeah. A lot of people haven't seen it. Obviously, you're at uni with people who watch films, so
yeah, I try to show it to as many people as I can. Ella recently watched it; she loved it.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's a perfect film. I think it's hard for anyone not to like it.
Yeah, but yeah, so good. I think we'll wrap it up there, won't we?
Yeah, I think we'll have to.
Yeah, nothing else to say
other than see you this year.
Yeah, see you in a couple of months, maybe.
Yeah,
and see you next year. The top film of 2023.
The squeakquel to this episode. Squeakquel. Where I'm praying every year. I'm praying that Alvin the Chipmunk squeakquel comes out. You never know. Or the squeak boot.
Maybe next year Alex will be playing a different sport.
Ooh. Is that what the theme's going to be every time? It's I'm in reality playing a sport. The most unrealistic bit about any of these.
Well, thanks for listening.
No, you're welcome.
You're not going to say thank you?
Why? For what?
For listening to me.
To myself?
Yeah.
Thank you, me?
No, me.
What? No, I'm not thanking you. You could have just not talked.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
yeah, that is it.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
If you don't, you'll hear us next week.
But we'll see
you, but not next week.
No.
I don't know when.
Next episode. Why don't you say next episode?
Oh, you'll hear us next episode, but we'll see you.
Next episode.
Why'd you have to say that?
Bye.